Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFA Talking Point. It is my pleasure having you this morning. And here today, we are going to be talking about something that is so concerning, maybe so disturbing. I came across most of the time, especially me, when I post a video talking about things happening in Cameroon. Many Southern Cameroonians, especially Ambazonians, always come up to say, stop telling us about what is happening in French Cameroon. Stop telling us about what is happening with the government of President Pobia. We have nothing to do with. You are one of them. You are an agent. And that baffled me a lot. And I started searching on social media to understand the relationship between Ambazonia and all that are happening in Cameroon. And then I came to discover that most of the Ambazonia platform, mainly run by Ambazonia leaders like ABC, the group of Ayabacho, Chris Ano. I came to discover that most of their videos are all about the downfall of the government of President Pobia, especially when President Pobia was missing. When he went to Switzerland recently, Ambazonia forums were posting by every blessed day. But when it comes to us speaking the truth and talking about issue in Southern Cameroon, those who are supporting Ambazonia will just come up and say, stop telling us about what is happening in French Cameroon. Stop telling us about what is happening here. The truth is that Ambazonia, Southern Cameroon, cannot do a day without talking about French Cameroon. There is no one day that you can be talking about you people are fighting for your freedom. You people are fighting to liberate yourself without talking. The highest people reporting news about French Cameroon and President Pobia are Ambazonia. The highest people. Anything that happened, especially something that is negative, the Ambazonia will always be the first to do it. But when people like us will come up and then we are talking about an accident occurred today in Cameroon, they say somebody will just come and say, stop telling us about what is happening in French Cameroon. We have nothing to do with that. You are an agent. When you talk about the leadership of President Pobia is so corrupt, why are you so much interested in the corruption that is going on in French Cameroon? But when your leaders will report it, you remain quiet. You don't say it, you don't criticize it, you don't deny it. You spread the news. That is a problem. So the truth is, there is no way from this date that French Cameroon, President Pobia and his government, or whatever is happening in French Cameroon, can go out of the mind or the agenda of Southern Cameroonians. They will keep on talking about it, keep on talking about what is happening. I make a video one time, I was telling people or those following me that were the only day Southern Cameroonians will stop talking about what is happening generally in Cameroon is the day Southern Cameroon will be free. That is the day that will stop. As so far as we are still internationally recognized as part of Cameroon, there is no way you can cover your eyes that you are not going to say anything concerning French Cameroon or President Pobia. And if Ambazonia are fighting to separate from Cameroon, they are fighting to defeat who? The government of President Pobia. So they are the first people to know whatsoever is happening in French Cameroon and happening with the government of French Cameroon so that they can take advantage over it. And that is why you see all Ambazonia platforms. They are so much interested in what is happening within the government of Cameroon. I'm talking about platforms where the leaders of Ambazonia are managing. They are so much interested, and any little thing that happened, especially to President Pobia, they are always the first to post. But when TFA Talking Point will talk about it, anything happening in French Cameroon, many people will come up and attack, insulting, saying terrible things. If you are for, why are you here? Why you? No. That is not how we fight. That is not how we struggle for our freedom. I keep on telling people that TFA Talking Point is quite different from many platforms. It is not the first time I am involving in this issue, not only on social media. When I was in Cameroon, I was 100% involved in finding solution and lasting solution to the crisis in Southern Cameroon. And that is why TFA Talking Point is all about that crisis. Struggling by all possible means to propose lasting solution to it. I started manually. I was writing letters. I wrote a letter titled, as I mentioned in many of my videos, titled A Neutral Body, to call for a genuine and an inclusive dialogue. That was in April 2018. I was distributing manually from one office to another, one civil society leaders to another, one a religious denomination to another, because I wanted all the religious leaders to come together and form a neutral body, together with trustworthy Cameroonians and a civil society leaders and some political leaders, that they have to call and create that organization and then call for the two parties, the Ambazonia and the government, so that they will sit on a table genuinely and talk. That was in 2018. And that is the very letter that it gave me the opportunity to go on Equinox TV. I was invited on May 16, 2018 on Equinox TV Talking Point. And I was interviewed by Mimi Mufo. The main topic of that discussion was to explain to all Cameroonians my letter that I wrote. And a copy was given to Equinox TV, to my Medium Prime TV, CRO TV, and many other TVs stationed in Cameroon. But the government did not take any interest in it. I gave a copy. The first person who received my copy was Cardinal Tumi. And within that period, from April right up to around October, Cardinal Tumi came out with all Anglophone General Conference. And then I congratulated him so much because it was in line with my objective, what I wrote in my letter. But the only difference I told Cardinal Tumi was that the only difference was that in my own was that the neutral body would be the one to call the government up for a dialogue. But the All General Conference was waiting for the government to give them the forum to sit and talk, in which I told them that the government is a fighter and the Ambazonian, another fighter. These are two people fighting. So you cannot depend on one to call for a dialogue. So you have to be, the neutral body is the one to call the two together. That is where the All Anglophone General Conference failed, I believe. But it was in line with my own objective. And then when I started, I go from one meeting to another, one office to another, talking and proposing. By then, I was having some kind of link with the Prime Minister at the Prime Minister's office. I wrote a letter when the dialogue was going on in Bamenda directly, a message on the telephone directly to people concerned, but they refused to listen. The day this crisis scattered, when the consortium were having 25-point agenda, rumors were already going on that as they are going there, the government will not accept. I was having an opportunity to write directly to the person who was chairing that meeting. And I say, if you go there, accept everything that is there, because it is a trap. If you refuse any point there out of the 25, this crisis will escalate. And the government, before even that day, the government refused that they are not going in for federation. And that is where everything scattered. So, if we are talking about the crisis in Southern Cameroon, we have a background. And talking about the crisis in Southern Cameroon, as a Southern Cameroonian, I cannot say I'm going to be reporting or talking. TFA Talking Point will only be talking about things happening in Southern Cameroon. No. So far as Southern Cameroon is still linked to French Cameroon, there is no way we can do without French Cameroon. And so far as French Cameroon and Southern Cameroon is still linked, there is no way Ambazonia can do without French Cameroon. They need to monitor the activity of French Cameroon to see where there is a weak point. That is where they have to hit hard on it. So if you are telling me on social media that as a Southern Cameroonian, I do not have anything, I should not say anything concerning French Cameroon. If I say anything concerning French Cameroon, maybe an accident occurred there, the government is not good, this one is not good, you say I am a traitor, I am an agent. I keep on saying it very clear that me in particular, I stand for federation. And then I presented a video to explain to everybody the kind of federation. If we were all, Southern Cameroonians were on that who onto that kind of federation I was talking about, the international community could have been behind us. And that is exactly what this APJ it came up with, that they had to now go diplomatically. And that is something that start calling people attention, especially the Ambazonians, because they were having the authority and the power. They were being recognized all over the world. They talk about the crisis in Southern Cameroon. That is why I keep on congratulating Ambazonia, but I am not one of them, because they make the pain and the struggle in Southern Cameroon to go far into the world. But they missed the point. They got the trust of the international community in 2017, the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018. But something came up. And I called the attention of the Ambazonia that go back and ask yourself, what happened? If you ask yourself what happened and correct those mistakes, change strategy, you are going to win. But nobody listened. Some people reach a certain point and discover that it cannot go, they surrender, because they have no idea, they have no vision. The government of President Paul Biya, the main strategy that the government of President Paul Biya wish and always hold on to is force. If you want to come to him by force, that is, they are very happy. But if you go against the government of Cameroon diplomatically, in a very intelligent way, the government will just collapse because they don't have brain, they don't have wisdom. They don't have. That is why they are afraid of dialogue, because they know that on the table they will have nothing to say concerning this crisis. Because even President Paul Biya have not read it detailedly to understand why British Cameroon, the only territory, all other surrounding countries, Nigeria and Cameroon, French Cameroon, got their independence, and British Cameroon was left alone. Nobody said anything about it. Even President Paul Biya does not know why. And that is what I keep on saying, that we should stop all the other strategy and who on to a diplomatic ways of solving this problem, where we are going to who the United Nations, not international community, only the United Nations organization all alone to answer to also a British Cameroon one particular question. Why is it that they allowed British Cameroon to achieve independence by joining? There was no other country that were being given the question of plebiscite. And why is it that when the plebiscite was about to be conducted, they divided British Cameroon into two? Why not join them together and say vote? Because if you look at the calculation, if they were together to vote, they could have voted all to join French Cameroon. And if they could have voted all to join French Cameroon, it could have been all British Cameroon fighting against French Cameroon, and that could have been more easy for us too. But because they were already having that weakness and selfishness within them, the United Nations, weak and under the influence of the Britain and France, decided to place that British Cameroon on a table and asked two selfish leaders to divide it into two. And they divided it. They divided it. Today there is no peace along Cameroon and Nigeria border because these people are not satisfied. They are angry. They have been maltreated, those in Nigeria and those in Cameroon. So if we all gather ourselves together, believe that we have suffered for all these years. First, we were under the Germans during colonization. And after the First World War, we were being divided into two between French and Britain. French and British. And then when divided, what happened? They went ahead, divided us again. We have been moving as people without children, without ancestors, without parents, begging in wherever we are. Why can we not stand all alone? Look into our situation. Forget about tribalism. Forget about favoritism. Forget about all the things that are separating us. Just as this man, the Archbishop of Bamenda, Archbishop Andrukia, he talk about it, that why they were in the major national dialogue, that me in particular, do not consider it. It was a meeting, that they who onto federation two-state federation, that they should go on down to for the 1961 constitution. But the late Mokete in Kumba stood up and said, Southwest and Northwest can never join. That they prefer 10-state federation. And that is where the disorder came. And the government said, okay, at this point now, we can decide and say decentralization will be the best. So with all this differences and hatred amongst us, if we all dissolve all those hatred, we will see the way to go and solve this problem. Our ancestor, our forefather, they were maybe ignorant or foolish or whatsoever, or divided. Why now, in the 21st century, why can we not put our brain together? Is the question TFA Talking Point keep holding on to. Coming back to our main topic, can we, as Southern Cameroonians, stop talking to show that we are fighting for our freedom, talking about what is happening in French Cameroon? My answer is no. We can never stop talking. Because somebody who is maltreating you, you are a houseboy in a house, and they are maltreating you in the house. Is there any way you can fight for your freedom without talking about your master? There is no way. There is no way you can ever talk about, I will be set free one day, without talking about. The main topic is the man maltreating you, the person maltreating your master who is maltreating you. That is the main person. And that person will be running your brain every minute. As you are thinking on how to escape from that house, you will be thinking only about your master. How am I going to go about it? So, Southern Cameroonians or Ambazonians who keep on insulting others on social media or physically, that they are talking about French Cameroon, should stop it, because there is no way. Even you who is saying that you are talking about, you cannot hear anything that happened with the government of President Pobia without you being posting it. And when another person will post it, it will become a problem to you. That is stupidity. And TFA Talking Point is not in support of such thing. So this is my point, as I explained to you, that as a Southern Cameroonian, stop insulting others who are struggling. All of us are struggling to propose a lasting solution to. Do not look at your brothers and say he is a black leg just because he came up and said President Pobia is a corrupt government. And you ask, why are you doing with the government of President Pobia? You are an Ambazonian or you are a Southern Cameroonian. No, we all are talking about. All Ambazonian leaders are talking about what is happening in French Cameroon. Not to talk of us who are not even for separation now. We are for federation now. And when we have the federation, we are going to build ourselves and have the resources that even we can fight if marginalized again for even 30 years without begging, without having any shortage in any domain. If you truly want to fight the government of President Pobia, as I told you people, that the government of President Pobia has corrupted corruption. And for you to understand that, you need to reason above normal corruption. And concerning everything in Cameroon, they always want anything in Cameroon to end with force, because they have the military to brutalize you. And then when they start brutalizing you, they will put it on to the international community that you are a terrorist. And then they will have the upper hands over you. But if you want to humiliate the government of Cameroon, bring them on the table. Bring them on the table. Resist them, fight them. They will defeat you. They will do anything possible to bring you down. But if you bring them on the table, there is no way they will surrender. That is how the government of Cameroon is. And that is where I hold on to my own point. So I'm just pleading that we Southern Cameroonians are all fighting for Southern Cameroon to be liberated. The only difference is our strategy. The Ambazonia who on to, we will fight the government. Those for federation who on to, we will fight for federation. And all these people are fighting. Even you ask the little child today in Southern Cameroon, he or she will tell you that Southern Cameroon will be liberated one day. Everybody believe that we have suffered enough and we will be liberated. So the only thing is, ask your brother besides you, what are you standing for Southern Cameroon to be liberated? when the person will explain to you, do not say no. No, we do not have to fight ourselves. Say, ask the person, how are you going to go without your own strategy up to the point where Southern Cameroon will liberate? The person will explain to you. And that is why I keep on telling people that listen to your brother. If somebody come and tell your brother that, he tell you that, oh, your brother, this person was collaborating with the military, call the person, interview the person, talk with the person without any intimidation. Because there is a high rate of intimidation going on in Southern Cameroon, where the military will hold somebody and say, you were talking with Ambazonia, and the person said no. You say, speak the truth. But the person is speaking the truth. You say the person should speak the truth. Which is the truth? Or the Ambazonia will hold somebody and say, they told us that you were collaborating with the military. And the person said, no, I was not collaborating with the military. They stopped me on the way and they were asking me this thing. I said, no, I don't. Then you say the person should speak the truth. You were not there. How do you know the truth? And then you will beat the person, do all kind of things and say, speak the truth. You did this without any investigation. And then the person out of intimidation and fear that, oh, if I say yes, I collaborated with them, you will allow me. Say so, in which genuinely the person did not do that. But because you keep on insisting that what the person is saying is lie, that is where the problem is. I am begging that the only thing is that what we have different opinions, but we all boil down to one. That is how Christianity is. There are many denominations, but they are all looking up to one God. There are many ways in Southern Cameroon to achieve their independence. So allow those who are going their own ways to be going that way. The whole issue is that one day we will come out. Even those who are for one and indivisible Cameroon, if today Ambazonians succeeded to separate, me, who is for federation, I will be the first to be fighting for position also in Ambazonia. I will be. There is no way I will be automatically an Ambazonian. Even a Tanganji will be an Ambazonian automatically. And if he or she wish Tanganji, he will be fighting for position to become a leader in Ambazonia, because naturally he is an Ambazonian. So we have to have this mentality in our brain. Thank you very much for staying up to this point.